Welcome in, Scarlet. Hello, hello. I'm here with Shelby, and we have a very special guest, another great interview for y'all today. We're joined here with Kelsi Baker. Y'all, Kelsi Baker had such an impact on the Lady Raider basketball team when she was here. We were just talking about intramurals before we even started talking about anything serious, which shows how much of an impact she had on campus and her involvement in campus. So we're really excited to talk to Kelsi. But before we get into that, make sure you hit subscribe on our YouTube. We're cranking out content like crazy these days. So to keep up to date with what's going on with Tech Athletics, but also with these really great interviews. We have Kelsi today, and we have some other stars in the future. So make sure that you subscribe, follow along anywhere where we are. But Kelsi Baker, welcome in. Let's go.
Thank y'all for having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
We've been working on this for a few weeks now. You're busy.
We have.
You were going to be our first ever guest, actually.
Really?
We tried to give you the title, but...
Oh, man. I'm sorry. I messed it up.
Yes,
I messed it up.
We got here eventually.
You're going to be the best fourth one, or the best...
I appreciate it.
You're the best of it, though.
You're the best.
I appreciate it.
So, Kelsi, you started playing for the women's basketball team back in 2010, which Shelby and I talked about. That's when we were in college, so we were watching you play. We were involved with you in that capacity. Tell us about, we'll talk about your history in Texas Tech, but what are you up to now? What's life like for Kelsi these days?
Oh, it's crazy. I actually just got out of a meeting. I coach high school basketball in Mesquite, Texas, where I'm from. Cool. We are actually trying to host one of the biggest tournaments in the state. We are currently, we have 24 teams coming from Canyon,
wow.
West Texas, Oklahoma, California, Louisiana. We want to be able to showcase women's basketball, girls basketball all over the state because it's an incredible thing. And it doesn't get showcased the way it needs to. So, I'm able to I have the platform to be able to, kind of start putting things into place. And that's one of the things that we're trying to do. I'm the girls coordinator at Mesquite High School, also the head girls basketball coach. And we're just trying to put girls basketball on the map and show people that there's a lot of different aspects to girls basketball and women's basketball that they don't normally see.
Yeah, I love that. And that, I assume, is a regular season, school tournament, not AAU. So.
Yeah, so it'll be a regular season tournament. Like I said, we have Canyon, CE King. So we have a team from Houston, team from Louisiana, team from Oklahoma. Some of the best kids in the state.
Yeah.
Amarillo is coming. So I've been reaching out to my Lubbock contacts, trying to get some schools from Lubbock. Monterey said, they couldn't make it this year, but hopefully next year.
Yo.
So we want this to be a statewide tournament. My team, hopefully, this year can get down to the Cap Rock tournament, which is a big Christmas tournament held in Lubbock. And, when I was playing at Texas Tech, I saw some of the best basketball players, some of the best high school players play in the Cap Rock tournament.
Yeah,
the Cap Rock tournament is a premier tournament in the state of Texas. So, I just want to be able to use my platform to help girls, get to the next level.
I love that so much. Just, is that what you want to do? Are you looking ever to get into the coaching ranks in college, or is this your goal is to help people get to college for now?
So I'm completely fulfilled every day.
Love it.
Helping 15 to 18-year-old kids figure out what they want to do with their lives. So, college is truly a business. Right now, I don't have to worry about getting fired if I lose a game or, or if something crazy happens. And I am fulfilled whether I win games or not. And I think that's one of the benefits of being a high school coach. And I don't teach, but I was teaching PE. I was teaching the outdoor ed class, which is basically teaching kids how to fish and hunt and shoot bow and arrow, and so that's not something I would be able to get if I went to the college ranks. Maybe one day. I'm still young. I just turned 31, but right now I'm completely fulfilled.
I love
doing
that.
this.
No, and we
Yeah.
need people that want to be at the high school ranks and to make an impact like you're doing, that are going above and beyond and scheduling those tournaments, and not just. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with coaches that just coach and then go home and they do that, but we really need people like you that care about it. So that's awesome that you're there. And hey, if you ever move on to the next level, that's great too. But I love that you're happy doing that and you're making an impact. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it.
And it makes so much sense. Like we did a preview video on you about this before our interview and talked about the energy that you had while you were here, and even like when you were on the bench, you might as well have been on the court, just a sixth person on the court. And like hearing how like what you talked about back in the day, and also like your teammates of being able to provide a scope of really like what you're doing now, of this coaching ability that you have. And I think it's really, really awesome that you're putting in so much effort towards like what you talked about of showcasing the talent that is in West Texas, and I think Coach Gerlich recognizes that too. And we have several players on our team right now that are West Texas basketball. So, like, thank you in advance is what I'm saying, Kelsi, for
No problem.
for all these students and kids that are gonna grow with you. I think that's really, really, really cool and really commendable. So. Good work so far is what I'm saying.
I appreciate
Tell
it.
your boss that. I'll tell your boss that. Get you a raise. And
Get her a raise.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Cool,
you.
cool, cool.
give her
Yeah.
a raise. You deserve it. So, taking us back to your days at Texas Tech, we remember we were in school then, so we got to watch y'all do your thing. But what's some things that you remember from your time at Texas Tech as a Lady Raider, on or off the court? We talked about intramurals too, but just as your time at Texas Tech, what is something when you look back on that time just comes to your mind?
Man, so that was the best time of my life. You know, I met some of the best people, and I tell my kids today, I'm not saying college is for everybody, but college is where I met my people. You know, I talked to some people from high school, but college is where you find yourself, and you find people that help you find yourself. And so I think that's what I got from Texas Tech, and I to this day, I think going to Texas Tech was the best decision of my life. Just the people I surrounded myself with, the people that, you know, the coaching staff. I was, you know, fortunate enough that I was recruited by Christy Curry. She was there. I got hurt, and so when I got hurt, I had to play for Candy Whitaker, and that was a tough transition for me. But to this day, I still talk to Candy. So I was able to play for two phenomenal women.
Yeah.
Two women that have an impact on basketball, bigger than you would ever get to see. I left Lubbock not because I wanted to, but because I had to, you know, with some family stuff, and I wanted to come home and take care of my mom. But, you know, Lubbock is my forever home. I would have been perfectly content living in Lubbock and working and teaching and coaching in Lubbock. Being a Lady Raider was, I think people miss the point of being it's different. You can go to Baylor and be a Baylor Bear, but being a Lady Raider is a lifetime thing. It's a legacy thing, and it's something that you're not going to get at any other college. I literally could have gone anywhere, but when I walked on Texas Tech's campus, it felt like home. So I went to I say a lot of different visits, but I took all 5 of my visits.
Yeah.
And so Texas Tech felt like home. The exposure you get at Texas Tech, it's unlike anywhere else. I literally, my best friends from high school, it was 3 of us. One of us went to Texas. I went to Texas Tech, and my other friend went to A&M. And just the bond that I was able to create at Texas Tech, they didn't get that at those places. And, you know, Texas may be the bigger name in the state of Texas, but Texas Tech gave me something that Texas wasn't able to give my friends. And the same thing with A&M. You know, I'm grateful for Texas Tech. I'm grateful for the coaching staffs. I tell people all the time, Texas Tech changed my life. It helped me find who I was and be okay and comfortable in my own skin. And just, you know, it doesn't matter what you want to do, who you want to be. People are going to love you if they genuinely care about you as a person. So, sorry that got a little long-winded,
No,
but
keep going.
That
I
was-
love it.
we're gonna
perfect.
cut that, and that's gonna be recruitment. We are gonna recruit
Yeah.
every player we ever could dream of because of what you just
Yeah.
said.
That's
No, but, I mean, I tell people that I work with, and they're like, Texas Tech, where they have dust
It is
storms and
different.
Haboot? But it's a different place. It's a tight knit community, but it's a big community.
Yeah.
And the campus is the town, and that sounds bad, but it's not.
it's a college town.
It's who we are. If you are in Lubbock, you are Texas Tech, and that's. And trust me, I was able to explore every inch of Lubbock. I had a good time. So,
I bet.
but it's a great place to be. And I tell people all the time, I have responsibilities to my family. That's why I came back to Mesquite. But Lubbock is home, and I will forever love Lubbock. I told my people this year, I said I am not missing another homecoming. We got to go back. So.
Oh, I can't wait. You gotta hit me up. Hit me up.
I got you.
I owe you a drink or two. But
I got you.
yeah, Shelby and I were like talking about your like history and like just looking at stats and things like that. And you kind of touched on it too with your injury and everything that you just said. You're talking a lot, in my opinion, about just like your mental wellness, and you're talking about connection and community. What was that like for you going through your season and having that injury, but you know, in the transition of coaches, like I didn't even think about that, but that totally makes sense. How did you keep yourself, you know, safe and in that spot of like positivity and just getting through it?
So, and statistically, my junior year was like my best year. I was peaking. I finally kind of figured it out. My freshman year I played, my sophomore year I played, but I figured it out my junior year. And that was statistically my best year. And so I was like, okay, like we're about to be really, really good. And literally, you know, we've gone through our summer workouts, and the last sprint of our summer workout, I tear my Achilles.
No.
And I'm like, holy, I mean, I probably said every word in the book.
Rightable so, yeah.
I said every word in the book. And so it was hard for me because I was like, man, you know, I thought I had finally figured it out. Like, you know, I said, my junior year was my best year. So I was going into my senior year, like we got the recipe for success.
Yeah.
And so, even though we were at that time, we were going through a coaching change, we didn't lose anybody. None of our players left. It wasn't like now, like if a coach leaves, everybody's jumping ship.
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. So we were all in a mindset of like, we're turning the corner. And then I get hurt. I could just tell some of my teammates were like, crap, like what happened? It was a coaching change, but I will, I have to speak to Candy Whitaker. When I tore my Achilles, it was the transition. It was that time, like I said, it was the last sprint of summer workouts. So I literally had surgery the next day and had to go take a final exam the day after that. So I remember going to taking my Calculus 3 final exam, and I had surgery on my Achilles the day before, and I ended up like getting super sick in there, and the teacher was like, "You just go home."
Yeah.
Go home. But I was like, I had to pass that class. And so I wasn't able to like go back home, like to Dallas.
Yeah.
And so that was a challenging part. All my teammates had gone home. Nobody was there because summer was over. And I have to, Candy didn't know me from, anybody else because she had just taken the job.
Yeah.
And she literally picked me up from my apartment every day. I had dinner with her family. She checked on me mentally, because if I would have been there by myself, I don't know where I would have been mentally.
Yeah.
But she, like her kids, like we hung out, watched movies. She took care of me, and that's why I will forever be indebted to her. She wanted to make sure that I was okay as a person before the athlete. And I'm not going to say like we had the best relationship, because I was like, man, who is this lady trying to like, we got everything figured out. I know you're the new coach. Just come in here and just vibe, just vibe with us. Like, just let us take you where we need to take you. And so,
Yeah.
you know, that's really how I felt. I was going into my senior year. I was like, shoot, I'm like 22 years old. Like, I don't have time for this anymore. These 18-year-old kids, like, and we have this young coach, like, just come in here. We'll tell you how it's going to be. We're going to be successful.
We'll coach you.
Yeah, we'll coach you up. And so, but she cared about me like I was her own child. And that's something that you don't get a lot. And for me, that changed my trajectory on life and my outlook on life, because I was not in a good spot. I was cussing everybody like, F this, man. I just tore my Achilles. I'm back. Like, I was angry more than anything.
Yeah.
And then to be by myself, like my dad came down and took care of me, but he eventually had to go back to work. And so she literally picked me up every day. Hey, what do you want for dinner? Like, we're going to Market Street. I'm in the little cart. She's walking next to me, and we're talking about what we want for dinner. And that's just, that speaks to not only Candy Whitaker, but that speaks to Texas Tech and what they believe in and who they believe in, because that's the type of person they hired. Is somebody that genuinely cares about you. And I know with Coach Gerlich, that's who she is. I know her personally, and that's who she is. And that's why I believe in Texas Tech, because everybody, the track record, their track record shows the people that they hire care about kids and care about the kid first.
Yep. Yep.
And so I'm telling you that saved my life, because I was so angry and just, I didn't know who to blame. I blamed everybody, including myself. Like, I literally blamed the trainer. I remember like cussing the trainer out, like, dude, what the heck? Yeah. If you wouldn't have taken my ankle like this,
Yeah.
But it's just mentally they took care of me in a way that if I didn't have that, I don't know where I would be, because I probably wouldn't have finished.
Totally. Yeah. Such an impact. And we talked to some of the graduating players from the women's basketball team, Bree and Kat, and everybody's saying the same thing about Coach Gerlich, and I love hearing that has been the core. I mean, hopefully the core of a good string of coaches that we've had, and knowing that it's in that spot now in Coach Gerlich's hands, that means more to me than any score on the board. It's like, how are we taking care of you? And I love that story. Thanks for telling us that. That is, I'm glad she was there for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. It's painful to hear those stories, but it's good when you hear them go the right way, because there's so many of them that didn't have a coach like Whitaker there for you, and you would have left and had to figure it out later in life. So I'm glad that you were able to fight through that and be what you were, because you finished out your career. Again, we all know what you were doing your junior year, but you stuck it out, had your redshirt year, and came back strong. And that's a great story. So like she said, thanks for sharing that. Yeah. You touched a bit on Gerlich, and I'm sure you've been watching the team from afar. What was it like as you being really the last team that really made the NCAA tournament to see, or any type of postseason, to see this team this year finally break through again and at least make it to the WNIT, from your perspective as someone who was kind of a part of the last run that did that?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm very proud. That's the one word that that comes to mind when I was watching and just observing. I know Jasmine Shavers personally, because she literally went to the high school that I went to.
Yeah.
Her dad tells me all the time she grew up watching me and all that. So it was so rewarding getting to see, and it's crazy, because I was like, dang, were we the last team? We were the last team, that made it to the NCAA tournament and made it to the WNIT. And I was like, I have a great deal of pride when it comes to Texas Tech, and just the things Coach Gerlich's doing, and this roster that she's created right now is a beast. Yeah. So, I'm excited to not say that we're the last team to make it to the NCAA tournament, because 2024 is the year that Texas Tech women, they're going back to the NCAA tournament, because the roster that they have right now is incredible.
Let's go!
Yeah, we all agree, so it's good to hear it from someone that played and is a coach now that sees it too. So I think personally, we talked about it a lot on the podcast, they would have made it this year if they had their full roster that they thought they'd have with JoJo and her and all her stuff. But yeah, this year, if they're all healthy, I'm excited. So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. So we talked about, like, I'm glad you brought up the Cap Rock tournament. I've been to a few, and it is beyond electric. And I'm really curious to know from your perspective, especially being in a high school area now where we're like inheriting those kids once they get to college. How do you see students being more engaged to like go and watch these games, or like when you think about the time when you were here as a Lady Raider and getting more exposure for the women's teams? How do you think we can help with that engagement? Or what do you see being successful on your level from high school? Do you see like an increase of fans and support? And it kind of sounds like you are with this tournament you're working on. It sounds
Yes.
awesome.
So it's crazy how many kids that don't just like watch basketball.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm a junkie. I'm a basketball junkie. So I watch basketball all the time, and that's what I try to preach to my kids and any kids I come in contact with, especially the high school kids. Like, go watch basketball. When I was in high school, or you know, growing up, I had a favorite basketball player. If you ask these kids now, like, who's your favorite basketball player? They're like, LeBron. Well, what does he do? Well, he's LeBron. Or Steph Curry.
Yeah.
You know, but I could tell you specifically, like, I love Simone Augustus. I love Candace Parker, not because they were just like big names, but because I was a student of the game.
Yeah.
And, you know, there were so many community aspects of, hey, let's get these kids out to the game. So, like, right now, in Mesquite, we do middle school night, we do future skeeter night, because Mesquite High School is this Lady Skeeters, by the way.
Okay.
So we do future skeeter night, and it's just trying to promote kids watching basketball, kids interacting with people that look like them, so that they have somebody to look up to. And I know for Lubbock, one of the things that we did, I went to the Cap Rock tournament as a player. So like when I was at Texas Tech, we went to the Cap Rock tournament. We talked to some of those kids. We talked to the kids that were participating in the tournament, just so they can see like, hey, I'm regular. Like, I'm gonna eat a hot dog and watch you play in the Cap Rock tournament. And I remember probably hitting 4 or 5 gyms in a day. And I was blessed. We had a grad assistant named Lane Reeves who was from Lubbock. Her family was big in Lubbock, and me and Lane just kind of went around to gyms and talked to kids, and not in a official capacity. Just, hey, I like your game. You have potential, because a lot of kids don't even think they have an opportunity to go play at the next level.
Yeah.
And so when they figure out that they have an opportunity, now they're more engaged and more likely to want to go watch it, and nobody's going to go by themselves.
Yeah. For
They're
sure.
going to bring a friend, they're going to bring a mom, they're going to bring a dad. So that was one of the things that, as a Lady Raider, I just wanted to go watch the kids. And I was a basketball junkie, so I wanted to see who was the best kid.
Yeah.
You know, the best, female hooper. But that was huge for us, because now that kid came and watched me play. And it's actually funny. Kelly Mora, her mom sent me pictures on Facebook like, hey, here's pictures of you and Kelly when she was a kid and you were playing. And she was like, you remember,
way.
like, you did this at camp, you were talking to her, you were playing. So it's all come full circle.
Yeah.
Full circle. And when I talk about the impact that Texas Tech and Lady Raider basketball have on the community, that's the impact.
Right.
Those things come full circle, and it's 10 years, 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was me having a conversation with Kelly at camp, and her mom taking a picture, and her mom's like sending me pictures, and it warmed my heart. But it's the full circle thing that, I'm not saying I'm the reason Kelly chose Texas Tech, but we started a connection back then that may have impacted that decision.
That makes
And so I
so
think
much sense to hear that you
getting
say
into the community. Yeah.
Yeah, to hear you say that, because I hear people when we like looking up like who's Kelly Moore as a player. What you constantly keep seeing people say that are in Lubbock or Texas Tech related is they compare her to you. So I don't like. I would like you to talk about her game, because that's what they keep saying is, yeah, she's Kelsi Baker. She plays a similar style of basketball, and I didn't even know that y'all had a connection because I was like, yeah, I want to see what her take is on Kelly since everyone keeps comparing her to her. But now it makes complete sense. She's probably been watching your tape and like modeling her game after you a little bit. But what do you see in her? As what should fans get ready to see?
We're saying that.
Yeah, no, I see it a lot. I see it a lot.
I'm honored. No, so I'm blessed that in the summers I work for Nike UIBL. So I was able to travel. I travel literally all summer. I'm actually leaving Thursday to go to another EYBL event. And so I was actually able to watch Kelly all summer. Man, she has a knack for being in the right place at the right time. And it's crazy because Kelly doesn't have to get the ball passed to her to impact the game. And I think that was one of the things that I truly wanted to model my game after, is impact the game in more ways than just scoring. One of my teammates, Minta Spears, was like, I think you're like the all-time leader in Texas Tech history in taking charges. But I wanted to impact the game in different ways, and that's what Kelly does. She impacts the game. She's going to block shots. She's going to make the right pass. She's a very, very capable scorer, but with the teams that she has been on, she didn't have to do that. So she impacts the game in ways that other people don't necessarily impact the game. She's going to get on the floor for loose balls. She's going to get steals. She's going to guard the best post player. She's going to guard the best guard. You can do different type of defensive schemes with her in the game because she's not going to be a liability defensively. She can guard 1 through 5. She's super physical, and that's not something that you find in a lot of players these days. She's very, very physical, and that's what's going to take her and allow her to impact the college game, because the college game is so much faster and so much more physical.
Yeah.
She's not going to have to adapt to that because that's who she is.
Oh, I love to hear that. And it sounds like, I don't know what the coach's plans are, and this team has gotten a lot better in the offseason with their additions, but it seems like that is the exact type of player that can make an impact even in their freshman year, because she's not like, hey, I don't need to go out here and drop 20. Like, I'll get mine when it comes to me. I'm out here to play my role, get rebounds, take some charges, get some steals, provide the energy. And I think, I even heard a lot of people say if she was on this team this year, she would have been an impactful 5 because the way the roster was structured. So I love hearing that from you, from someone that's seen her play
I know.
in person.
Heard it from Coach. You know, I'm like, put her in. Let's
I'm
go.
excited now. Have you? Yeah. I was on that same note. Since you go to these tournaments, have you seen Logan Johnson play as well? And her.
They played on the same team in the summer. So and it's funny that you said that. So, 3 weeks ago, there's a tournament called Boo Williams. That's the biggest girls tournament in the nation.
Yeah.
And so I talked to Coach Gerlich there, and I was like, Logan's a dog.
Yeah.
Like, she's a dog.
Oh,
Straight up.
And, like, Kelly's good, but Logan's got that. Like,
Dog
that
in her.
dog in her. Like, she can take over a game, dog. And so, like, she's not gonna be your super flashy type person. She's gonna just
Get to work.
do it. And she's strong. She's got a physical body. So the college game is not going to affect her. That's the biggest thing. And I think we saw Bailey Maupin had a great year, but we saw that some this year. She kind of got bumped off of some of her cuts, and just people were physical with her.
Bully balled her.
They can be physical with Logan. It's not going to affect her.
That's what
It's
I've
not
heard.
gonna-
Yeah, when you look at pictures of her, I'm like, she is stronger than
She's ripped.
our entire rising freshmen or sophomore class.
And I keep trying to pinpoint a word that she's a dog.
Yeah.
Like, y'all have a dog on your hands.
It's my favorite type of player.
And pairing her with everybody that y'all are getting, it's special. And like I think I tweeted this probably a couple of weeks ago. Like, Texas Tech is going to be athletic.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be athletic. They're going to be long. They're going to be physical. They're going to be fast. And some of the run and jump stuff that they were doing at the end of the season, they're going to be able to perfect that, and it's going to be special, special. But Logan is a scorer, and and is gonna lock you down. When I say, like, I'm excited talking about it, like, she's a dog. Like,
Getting me hype.
I
she's a
know.
dog. So, and I know that because I saw her play in the EYBL championship game, and she took over the game.
That's a big statement because that's the league there. So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
There's some players in that league.
It's the best league. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the best league in the country.
Yeah.
And she's on the same team as Chloe Cardi, who is going to Stanford. Riley, who is going to North Carolina, and she was the premier player on that team. So
Yep.
she was able to go get a bucket whenever she wanted to.
Yeah, I love to hear that because what you hear about her as maybe a contributor as a freshman is she's a dog that's going to play defense, and she'll be like locking down the team's best scorer even as a freshman maybe. And now you're saying she's a bucket as well. I mean, you see her stats say she's a bucket, but you're someone that's seen her in person too, so that's exciting. So yeah, this returning class, whew, all of them plus Yadanin, I'm excited about them. For sure. Have you seen, you kind of talked about a little bit about the ability this team's going to have to run and go with this younger group, and they showed it when Gerlich put out that younger group last year, but do you have any experience with any of the returners? You talked about Jasmine Shavers. Any thoughts on them that fans may not know just watching them play, just like you gave with those freshmen?
I always mess up her name, Freeland.
Freeland. It's apparently Freeland. We said it wrong all year, but we're correct.
Okay, see, I say it wrong. Freeland,
That's what we were told.
I think is the X factor for everybody.
Yes.
And I literally asked Coach Gerlich, like, where did you get her from?
Can I have one too?
For real.
Like, why didn't she play the whole year? Because she was phenomenal. Like, she's long. She was super active. And I think that was one of the things that we were lacking at the beginning of the year is the activity defensively. And when they got younger towards the end of the season and started playing a little bit faster, we saw how special it could be. Our points per game increased dramatically. We were shooting a lot more layups, and then so because we were so much more athletic, we were able to get to the cup, and so now we're hitting shooters and they're wide open, and so that shot looks a lot better than a contested 5 seconds left on the shot clock. And so we were able to penetrate and create a lot more things for other players. And so that's what I see is that we have some people that can drive and we have some people that can create their own shot, and so it's only going to make it better for everybody else.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, we talked about Riley McKinney a lot, and she did what she could on these past two teams. She's a scorer, but I feel like you get her out in space now and actually has room to shoot amongst those people like Kyla and even Bailey distributing some and all. Yeah, so I love what you just said for sure. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It's really awesome, like, hearing your perspective of it, and you're so brilliant. Like, you talked about, like,
She's a
you
coach.
know
You
the
can see
game,
it.
and
Yeah.
just, I could hear you talk about it, probably anything, but especially basketball forever. So I'm glad we still have you here. And you talked about it a little bit beforehand of maybe not having to worry about, like, NIL and things like that,
business.
but as a coach, as a admin, and the different hats that you wear, how has NIL changed the recruiting scene from the high school perspective, or how have you seen that kind of evolve into the beast that it is today?
Well, the biggest thing is with the WNBA being like it is now. Kids understand that NIL is the driving force in where I go to school, and it's almost like, well, I'd rather go here if they're gonna give me this money,
For sure.
because if I'm not gonna go to the WNBA anyway, or if I go and I'm gonna get cut, that's like Alexis Morris. There's no reason she shouldn't be on a WNBA team.
Someone else got cut today. Bill.
Destiny Henderson.
Bria Bill.
Destiny
from
Henderson
SC.
from South. Like that. It's and for people like that, Brie Bill. Brie Bill could have gone back for another year, but she chose to go to the WNBA. Just imagine I think I read something on her that she was probably making close to $200,000 in NIL stuff, and now that's all gone.
Yeah.
And it may not all be gone, but it looks different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
You know,
stay as long as you
I'm
can.
a star player at South Carolina. Now I'm a cut player in WNBA.
Yeah.
You know, people may not want to mess with you like they normally would, and so that's how NIL is driving recruiting. Like kids are like, not what's the best school, who's the best people. Show me the money.
Show me the money.
Show me the money.
That's the hard truth of
and show me different companies who I know will invest in me. And show me who they've invested in before, so I know that I have some leverage almost. And I think, you know, I think we're really, really, really close to NIL in high school in Texas. I think we're really close, and I think that's going to change how high school sports look.
They passed that bill recently, right? Something like where they could at least, before they're 18, start getting checks because the Quinn Ewers rule, so to speak.
Yeah,
because he went
they
to
can start
Ohio
getting
State.
that. Well, and there are some states that are allowing high school kids to do NIL, and right now there are some places in Texas that it's not necessarily NIL, but I'm gonna hold your product in my hand and I'm gonna take a picture on social media and I'm gonna say how good this product is and I hope you go get it, and
Yep.
you're gonna get something.
Endorsers.
So, you know,
Influence, yeah.
I think we're really close. I think it's the business of college basketball is more of a business now. It used to be, I thought college sports was better than professional sports because you have something to play for.
Yeah.
You know, like the NBA game number 10, they're probably not playing like they're playing in the NBA playoffs.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Right.
But game number 10 in college matters because if you don't have that quad one win, you're not going to the NCAA tournament and your season's over. So I think it's a lot more competitive, but NIL takes some of that out of it because you're like, well, I'm making $50,000 regardless of if I make the tournament or not.
Yeah.
And I think it's harder on coaches too. You know, how do you feel? And that would be hard for me. How do you feel if you have a player on your team making more than you?
Yeah, we saw that on the men's side, I think, at Texas Tech this year a bit.
Yeah.
It is. I don't know how the coaches handle it. It's a struggle, and you can't fault the players. Go get what you can get if someone's going to give it to you. Like they're just doing, especially on the women's side where you talked about the WNBA just doesn't have enough team and doesn't have enough roster spots, and even the pay. Some of these players can make more even if they make a WNBA roster. They can still make more in college, the really top
Yep.
ones. So
Easily.
you can't fault the player for doing it, but it is tough on the coaches. What is your, I guess, from a coach and someone that works with high school athletes, perception towards Texas Tech when it comes to the $25,000 NIL deal, and just as with the coaching staff now, has the perception changed around Texas Tech in recruiting lately, or have you seen a shift either way? Because it obviously wasn't the greatest few years there leading up. But has anything changed since that deal's kind of broken?
I think it's helped a ton. You know, Texas Tech is one of the only schools in the Big 12 to do that.
Yep.
And so when I'm sitting down with a kid and the kid is trying to decide between Texas Tech and Baylor, what leverage does Baylor have? We have that leverage to say, look, when you come here, you're going to, hands down, you're going to get this. You're going to get
Play
this
or
money.
not, you're going to get it, yeah.
Yeah, play or not, you're going to get this money. And I think, you know, just the more NIL continues to widen and vary, that Texas Tech is going to be able to do a lot more. Because there are so many people that are truly invested in Texas Tech.
Yes.
And people that want to see Texas Tech athletics do well.
Yeah.
And, you know, Texas Tech there's a buzz about it right now, and I'm telling you, when they make the NCAA tournament this year, we will have turned the corner. So right now we're at the corner. When they make the tournament, we're going to turn the corner and we're going to be the best school in the nation. And then we're going to put our name up there with South Carolina, LSU. Kim Mulkey's going to want to come back to Baylor because we're going to be up there with them.
Get it. Say it.
Let's go!
Kim Mulkey's just going to retire soon. She's like, I don't want to mess with
Like, I'm out.
I don't want to mess with Texas Tech. I got my natties over here too. I'm out. Y'all have fun.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't have many places where their coach knows exactly what
It's true. The culture, everything.
what the culture is. Krista Gerlich is Texas Tech.
Preach.
Yup.
And so you don't have a coach that can. There's not many coaches in the nation, not just in the state of Texas, in the nation that can sell you a program like Krista Gurley can sell Texas Tech because she is Texas Tech.
Yep.
She won a national championship with Texas Tech, and I don't believe she's going to leave until she brings another one back to Texas Tech. And the way she's recruiting, it's going to be a lot sooner than later.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's bringing them in. Like, I mean, we talked about the freshmen. I don't know. Are you aware of any of the? Have you seen any of the players that they've signed or offered? I guess no one's been signed for the next class. Have you seen those?
I know some of them, and I talked to her this past at Boo Williams about some of the players they were watching.
Yeah.
They got some big time players on their sites.
That's what it looks like.
And,
yeah.
and I think that's where we turn the corner. My class, back when they were recruiting us, like I was a top 100 player in the country. China Brown was a top 100 player in the country. Dominique Seals, top 100 player in the country. So we had 3 or 4 top 100 kids on our team. And, you know, McDonald All-American nominees, different things like that. And accolades don't matter, but they do.
Yeah.
You know,
Says you are.
having kids that have won a state championship on your team matter
Yep.
because they know how to win.
Yup.
Regardless of if it was 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A.
Private
it
or
doesn't
public,
matter.
no one cares. They won.
Private or public, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, you still have to know how to compete and you have to know how to carry yourself when it comes to winning a state championship. So that type of stuff matters, and we're back to getting those type of kids.
Yep.
We're back to, you know, believe it or not, a top 100 kid is different than a 2-star kid. Like, it's just how it is. And a 2-star kid could be really, really good, but they might not be really, really good until their junior year. But that top 100 kid is going to come impact the program today when they step on campus.
I think that's the biggest change we've seen lately is, like, even with Bailey Maupin, I think there was question marks around her because, yeah, she's top 100, but she's coming from 2A. And you talked about the strength aspect, which she's going to grow a lot. But even her, she kind of answered those questions like, oh, we see the difference because she was able to step in and make an impact. Shaver, same thing. And, yeah, it's exciting that she's starting to get those. We put out a post, I think it was yesterday, about you just start looking at this roster, state champion, international champion in Finland with Saga, state champion. Yeah. Even on the AAU circuit, these girls play on the top teams like Cy-Fair, like you were talking about. Like they're playing the best competition no matter where they go, and yeah, so that's exciting.
And I mean, if we talk about and this is a debate I have with everybody, when it comes to AAU basketball. Yeah, you can go play Little Susie, Little Johnny at the Mesquite Rec, but playing the highest level summer basketball matters.
Yeah.
On the EYBL circuit, Caitlin Clark came from the EYBL circuit. She played on All Iowa Attack. Angel Reese came from the EYBL circuit. Alexis Morris came from the EYBL circuit. These people, there's a reason why that people in the NCAA, and the NCAA tweeted something about the circus that these people came from. 65% of the people in the NCAA tournament came from the EYBL circuit. There's a reason why the people play on the EYBL circuit, because it's the best circuit and you're getting competition every single game against the best players in the nation, in the world, really.
Yeah.
And that's just my soapbox about AAU basketball.
Keep going.
I apologize. I know I work for the EYBL, so I'm probably partial, but
you're not wrong.
The best
Facts are facts.
Facts are facts.
The best players in the world are playing EYBL basketball because they want to play against the best competition.
Yeah.
The girls going to UConn, the girls going to South Carolina, they're playing on the EYBL circuit. Now, granted, some of them are playing Under Armour and Adidas, but the amount of people playing on the EYBL circuit is crazy. Yeah. And it's crazy.
Yeah, those tournaments it's like, I thought about going to the one you were talking about earlier up in Virginia, because I live in North Carolina now, and I was like, man, I kind of just want to show up and watch that, because there was some talent.
You should have come. Got you in. You would say, holy crap.
Yeah, like
these kids are ridiculous.
Yeah, and how much have you seen basketball change? Obviously, players were great talents even in just 10 years ago when you were playing, but even farther back from that when you were a kid coming up. Like, how has basketball changed from an athleticism standpoint, just a playing style standpoint on the women's side? Have you seen it change with these players, seeing them every day, every summer? in these tournaments?
Well, just for the simple fact that in Texas, I'll just talk about Texas.
Yeah, that's all.
When I was in high school, we weren't like you did open gym. That was it.
Yeah.
But now we can work our kids out every day if we wanted to. You got an hour to work your kids out, so naturally the kids are going to be better. Naturally they're going to be more skilled. Naturally they're going to be more in shape. So just if I would have had that when I was in school, like I had to go work out like in a gym, like, oh, my dad knows somebody, my dad's a principal, so I'm just going to go work out in the gym while he's at work. But like now, like you can work out with your coach all summer. You can literally get shots up all summer. The kids, they have to, like, you have to be better. I don't understand.
Yeah,
like,
you have no excuse not to get better.
You have no excuse. You don't have a choice. You're in the gym more than anybody's ever been in the gym.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side of that, kids burn out a lot quicker.
It's true. Yeah.
But, just the athleticism. I worked the boys EYBL this past weekend, and it's crazy because my cousin played Division I basketball. And he was like, Kelsi, these kids at 16 or 17 are better than I ever was as a Division I basketball player right now.
It's insane, just the evolution.
I mean,
of the game
you have 15 and 16. Cooper Flagg is 16 freaking years old at 6'8", grabbing stuff off the rim.
I've seen videos of him on Twitter. I'm like,
Holy mackerel! He's Kevin Durant at 16 years old. Like. And I see a lot of stuff on Twitter, and I was like, it's highlights. I got to see this kid in person.
Dude.
Aaliyah Chavez in person.
Oh
I've seen her in person. Me and her dad are cool. And I'm like, dude, slow down.
She's silly. Like, yes, she's 16 or 15
silly.
too. Sophomore, I see her highlights, and yeah, they're highlights, but even a highlight package can be insane.
I've seen her in person.
Ugh.
Me and her dad talk often. She's the real deal.
Cool.
Yeah,
She's the real deal.
We dream. I know she's gonna have every offer she wants, but we dream about that year that she could be a freshman, and you have Bailey Maupin as a senior, Jazz Shavers as a senior, Kyla Freeland as a senior, JoJo as a senior. Even now we got Jada Wynn that they just signed. She's gonna be a senior too, and then who knows who they're signing in the 24 class? Like, man. I can't wait to watch her wherever she goes, but obviously we can dream about that all day. She's a fun one.
Some red and black. Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. So, like, we talked about the changes of the game, and you talked about Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and this past tournament, the NCAA tournament for the women's side was electric, to say the least, right? It was so fun.
Those scores.
Yeah, it was so good. What do you think has led to the growth that we saw, like, this past tournament, really, of just the explosion of energy and excitement and attention and public recognition of the women's side of the game? What do you think led to that growth?
I think we finally have some parity.
Yeah.
I think you don't go into the NCAA tournament saying UConn is going to win it or Tennessee is going to win it.
Yeah.
I think there's literally we don't know who's going to win this tournament this year.
You really don't.
And for me, I genuinely thought, I was like, okay, South Carolina's going to be hard to beat. Mm-hmm. They're going to be hard to beat. But I was like, man, if any team could do it, it could be this team, or this team. Yeah. I actually had Stanford winning it all.
Ooh.
Yeah,
I had Stanford winning it all.
Early.
That was huge early.
So, but that's another thing. That's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's fun to see top 100 kids maybe be at Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. Rather than at Stanford or UConn. And so now the playing field is even.
Yeah. Yeah. When's the last time, if ever, you saw an NCAA champion get blown out by 20 earlier in the season? Like LSU got blown out by SC, and then they win the net. You just don't see that on the women's side. I don't think that's ever happened. It's usually it's the team that dominates, like USC at South Carolina. But yeah, I love it so much.
And like I said, growing up, it was UConn and Tennessee.
Yeah. All the time.
Those are the teams that, if you wanted to go win a national championship, you went to UConn or Tennessee, and then it takes one person saying, screw that. I want to go win a national championship somewhere else.
Yeah.
And now you have one player go somewhere else, another player go somewhere else, and now everybody feels comfortable going somewhere else and trying to lead their own program. And with the game having so much parity and so many players, the transfer portal, that's one of the ways it's affected the game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not even 10 years ago, 5 years ago, before COVID, Angel Reese wouldn't have been able to leave Maryland and go to LSU and play.
Alexis Morris, too, was a transfer.
Yeah.
Alexis Morris transferred like 4 times.
Yeah, she's been everywhere.
She's been everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
Gotta find the fit.
So COVID happened in 2020. Before COVID, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You don't see players transferring within the same conference. When I was in school, if you transfer within the same conference, you're sitting out 2 years, not just one,
Yeah,
2.
unless the coach signed a waiver, which they never did.
Which they never did.
Yeah.
And so now today, I'm having the time of my life. Tomorrow, I don't like it. I'm going somewhere else.
It's crazy. It's good and bad, but it's crazy.
It's good and bad, but, the good part about it is it's giving the game so much more parity, and it's making the game so fun to watch. Mm-hmm. Because you don't have one team just dominating. You don't know. I can't tell you who's going to win this game. So I'm going to tune in just in case something crazy happens. And a lot of times it does.
It even helps, like, in our situation at Texas Tech. Like, this would have been, I mean, we all know what Gerlich stepped into, and then after her first season, they kind of all left. And so she had to rebuild from really scratch. And imagine how long in a kind of a 5 years ago even that rebuild would have taken to not be like she brought in Bree Scott, she brought in Jazz Shavers as transfers, all these transfers, now all these this offseason. Those wouldn't have been here. Like, it would have just been like, you got to get high school players. It's going to take a while. It might be 10 years before you're relevant again. It's amazing for schools like that. It steps into the parity.
People hate COVID, except college athletes.
Yo.
People hated COVID.
It changed it.
Yo.
College athletes hated COVID 1 year when they canceled the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Other than that, COVID has completely changed the face of college athletics.
That's a good point.
Across the board.
That's a good point.
For the better, for the most part. There's definitely
For the better. Yeah, I mean, think about it. When I can't play, NIL got big because people couldn't play, and so they couldn't do anything. And now I need a way to make money, but you're saying it's illegal for me to make money. Mm-hmm. So what can I do? Then they pass NIL. COVID was a beast, but it has changed college athletics.
Yeah. I mean, we saw it and grow outside of athletics, of just challenging a lot of what we've always done. And
I mean, I tell the kids all the time, like, COVID was tough, but it showed everybody how nasty they were.
Yeah.
Like, COVID did a lot of good things. Like, why are you sharing the water bottles?
Yeah, it's true.
Get your mouth off of that.
Get your mouth off my water bottle. That's gross.
Sometimes we need a wake-up call as a world, and COVID definitely did that for a lot of reasons.
It did it.
I know. I was like waiting in line, and there was a guy like right behind me, and I was like, 6 feet.
Hey,
6
social
feet.
distancing. Yeah.
Like, why do I feel you breathing on my neck?
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
Get out. Oh gosh. So we have a few more questions for you, and you talked about like some of the ones just like because you know the game and you're spitting off names. Do you have favorite players? Like who has been maybe like a player that you've loved forever? Is it Candace Parker? It should be. If it's not, who is it? Who do you like now? Maybe some college players too that you're excited to watch, or that they're your favorite one to watch.
So Candace Parker is my all-time favorite player.
She's so good.
Like, I was able to see. Like, I know I'm plugging EYBL, but I was able to meet her last year because of EYBL.
Nice.
So I was like, oh crap! I feel like this 6-year-old Kelsi is like the ball screaming like, oh my God, it's Candace Parker. So, but Candace Parker is one of my all-time favorites. Simone Augustus, all-time favorite. Right now, so there's a kid, Samaya. She played EYBL last year.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to say this because I'm not supposed to like her. She committed to Kansas.
Oof.
I think she's like the best player in the country. Like, she was ranked like number 20-something. In my eyes, best player in the country. Like 6'1", handles it like a guard, thick, strong. I loved watching her games. Last year, she tore ACL at Nike Nationals,
Yeah.
so she wasn't able to finish. She played on Missouri Phenom. Aaliyah Chavez is another one. I love watching her play. I'm trying to think who else. I love watching Caitlin Clark play. Who else? I mean, there's going to be a kid that goes to South Carolina. Her name is Sanaa Ja. She's 6'4". She's tough. She's tough.
Oh man. Yeah, there's
So
every year there's a new player that you just don't. So you see
Yeah.
coming because you see them at the high school ranks, but as college fans, you're like, whoa. So it sounds like there's a lot more. Like we obviously know Chavez being in Lubbock, but
Yeah.
these other ones, there's so many good ones out there.
Cadence Samuels. She played for the same team that Team Takeover that Angel Reese played for. She has blue eyebrows.
Cool.
I'm here
She's
for that.
really good. She's going to UConn. She's really good. She has like blue eyebrows and puffs, and
love
she
it.
just shoots that thing. Like I'm talking about like one step across half court, and she's about 6'1" too.
Is she
But like
incoming this year for UConn or?
she's incoming this year at UConn.
UConn, people are somehow, that tells you how much the game's changed, somehow sleeping on UConn this year. With
I don't know
their
how.
incoming class
I don't
and
know
their
how.
returners and Paige being healthy.
Yes.
I'm like, it could
Paige.
be the UConn that they could just never lose. Like, they're that talented, but hopefully
Return of
there's
that.
enough parity
Yeah.
to make it fun. But
And that's what I'm don't understand like how people say Gino doesn't really do a lot of coaching. With what he had this year,
yeah,
he coached his butt off.
Yep.
Like they were literally playing with like 6 or 7 scholarship players.
yeah, their best two players really hurt the whole season, pretty much.
Yeah, Azzy Fudd wasn't the same.
Yep.
And Paige Beckers is a generational player.
Yep.
She is.
People
She's a
forgot about her
generational
because she
player.
sat out a year this year, but they're about to remember real
We're
quick.
about to find out. Yeah.
They're about to find out real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's fun. I watch all her highlights and stuff She's really active on TikTok. It's all that. She's always posting stuff. But I want to see her and Caitlin go at it. I know they have at the lower ranks, but like we want to see them like a UConn Iowa
Dude.
matchup.
I think people forget that like Caitlin Clark is like 6'1".
Yeah.
Like, she's not little. Like and people because the big debate on Twitter was like, why not double Caitlin Clark? Well, you double her with 2 guards. She's just looking over them. She's 6'1".
Yeah.
She's literally 6'1".
Yeah.
What are we doing?
She's a
can't
forward
use
playing
the
point
body.
guard.
Yeah. She's not little.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah. That's what. Yeah, you're right. That's what people don't get about because they were like, what? They were kind of clowning on South Carolina for not guarding her, right? I'm like, what do you want them to do? She's pulling up from half court. If you double her, she's gonna dish it down low. She's just
Even
that
if you
good.
have a hand in her face, it's
Yeah.
game over, dude.
There's
Like,
only so much you can do, and Paige is the same way up there.
Yeah.
There's now LSU has Haley Van Lee. It's just insane. They're all over the place. The game is a lot of fun to watch right now.
Yeah,
It's gonna be really fun.
it is. Cool. So you're like at the high school level, like we've talked about. So you're seeing the next generation of ballers, of hoopers. What could you say to a fan that is watching college basketball, and what would you say to prepare them for what's coming our way?
Get some popcorn.
Hey,
Get some
that's
popcorn.
our favorite snack, baby.
It's great. You know what I'm saying? Like this is what I wish I had when I was playing.
Hear
Yeah.
that?
You know, we had a phenomenal following. I literally played in front of a sellout crowd,
You did.
but it was 2 times in my whole college career. These kids are about to have the unique ability to play in front of sold out crowds every game. And that's special. And it speaks to the growth of the women's game. It speaks to, the community being behind them. But it speaks to also, like, kids, this is something you want to be a part of, too. A lot of kids, I know I've talked to some kids that are like, Coach, do I really want to go be in college? You do. You want to play in college. Not only are you getting your education paid for, but you're about to experience things that college athletes that were well off never got to experience. You know, I thought I was like the crap because when I was in college, I got to go to Canada, I got to go to Bahamas, I got to go to Africa. Well, you know, those were trips that like were once in a lifetime, but now those kids are doing that all the time. You could only, foreign trips are happening all the time, foreign tours. And for the people watching the game, you know, your loyalty and your pride in the game is going to show because your team has the opportunity to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
And for the kids that want to go play, you can do whatever you want to do. D2 basketball is like JUCO now. Like kids these days, people these days, fans these days, you can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do because things have changed. And especially for women and young girls, like the world is literally out there for you. And college basketball, I say college basketball, college sports are a platform for you to do whatever. Texas Tech volleyball is rolling.
Yeah.
Texas Tech softball is good. Track and field. One of my best friends used to do track at Tech. And so I was, you know, always in tune with it. And so Texas Tech track is the UConn of track.
Yep.
And I think people fail to realize that.
It's so good.
They're so good all the time.
That's that's like Texas Tech is a great place, but college athletes and college sports and college everything right now is a place to be. For fans, it's so much more fun. It's professional sports essentially. But for your community, it's going to bring so much for the community. It's going to bring so much more for those kids that need role models. And God knows that our kids these days need role models and need somebody to look up to and need a moral compass. So I know I covered a lot, but it's college sports and the trajectory of how everything is going to be good for the world, really. And I know that's super philosophical.
No, I
but
love it.
It's so much better.
It's so much more fair now because y'all were asked to be student athletes, and then like, oh, we can't. You can. I don't even think they had food stipends or like the stipends that they had between what you were doing and the NIL was a little bit better. And now it's like people are like, you know, the naysayers are, well, they're already getting school for free. Yeah, they can't work. They have to go to practice every day. They have to study. They have to go to classes. They have no free time. How are they supposed to pay for other things in their life? They can't go get a job like you can get a job. So, and not to mention when schools are making millions off y'all as well, like you deserve to get some money for your work. So I'm really.
And I tell people all the time, am I grateful that I didn't have to pay for school? I am beyond grateful that I didn't have to pay for school, but I also wasn't a true college student either.
Yeah.
Like,
true.
and when people question like, oh, they're getting paid for school, but you get to spend Thanksgiving with your family. I didn't.
Thank you.
You get to spend Christmas with your family. I didn't.
You get to have summers.
You get to spend New Year's.
Yeah.
You get to spend summers with your family. And I it's crazy because I told my mom this because she was like, you want to travel every year for your birthday now? Yeah, because I didn't get to do it in college.
Yeah.
And, you know, spring break, because we were successful, and that's not a, you know, I enjoyed being successful in college, but I didn't have a spring break.
Journey time.
And so all of my friends are like, we're road tripping here. We're doing this. We're doing that. And I'm like,
I'm at practice.
I'm at practice, literally.
We're traveling
Christmas
to
break.
wherever for the tournament.
I flew home the day before Christmas, and I flew back Christmas night.
What?
Yeah, this
Dang.
year I remember they had like a similar scenario with their games, and Bree Scott got her flight delayed but had to be back, so she drove from like Arkansas or wherever she was to Lubbock to make it in time for the game, and then Gerlich was like, just sit on the bench today, like you've had too exhausting of a day. But like that's the small windows that y'all have, and you just like, okay, I'm gonna chance it. I gotta go. I might get a flight delay, but I'll figure out how to get back.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like I said, I'm grateful for the opportunity, but we didn't have a true college experience, like. So, and that's where I think people need to see how things have changed. Like, I'm getting compensated because I'm not getting this true college experience. You know, literally, we at the sub at Texas Tech, people met some of their best friends at the sub. I went to the sub one time a year, and that was to get my books.
Yep.
Dang.
Because y'all have your own like eating facility.
Yeah, so like I had a set schedule. Like I'm working out, I have to be somewhere at 6. My class, especially in the summer, I'm working out at 6. I have class from 8 to 9:50, class from 10 to 12, and then we're working out again. And then we had mandatory study hall from like 4 to 6. And by that time, I don't want to see anybody else. I'm going
Tired
home.
of everybody.
Yeah, I'm tired of everybody. And I was blessed and fortunate enough that I had really, really good friends that were like, we understand. Like, I can speak to it today. I had a friend named DeVar Chapman. I went to high school with him. He came to Texas Tech, and he would just like, hey, you good? Like, are you good? Let me bring you some food. Let's just chill. You know, so I was fortunate and blessed to have people like that in my life, but I could only imagine, like, I had a roommate from Denver, Colorado. Like, we were her only people.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough, and I hate to say we're getting compensated because it's tough, but it's a job.
Yeah, it is a job. You're getting compensated for the work you're putting in.
You're getting compensated for the work, and I remember like my sophomore year, my check was enough, but it wasn't enough. Does that make sense? So like I had to pay my rent out of my athletic check, and so I was like, hey, well in the summer I'm gonna like go work. And then I remember having to get like approved, and I could only work so many hours, and I was like umpiring like Little League.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I could only work one game a day. Like that doesn't make sense.
It's not worth the
And
gas.
so now I'm screwed because I'm a college athlete. Like that's the part that people don't see.
Yep.
We don't have a problem working or trying to, fend for ourselves. But there were so many rules and stipulations that we had to go through. It's almost like, well, crap. Like, do I really want to work? Because I got to get everything approved. And if I work over, then I get penalized and I can't play?
Yeah,
No.
it's silly. It was so silly. So, yeah, I'm so glad they fixed it on some level. They need to probably find some sort of regulations. They're going to have to change some stuff, but
Yeah.
it's better to be what it is now than what it was. There were just as many
for
issues
sure.
then that were it just hurt the athletes. Now it is hurting admin and other people that they need to figure out stuff. But yeah, I'm so
I tell
thankful.
people all the time, if I played now, I would have been a millionaire.
Yes.
For sure, you would have had the deals.
You would.
Like I would be drinking smoothies at Market Street, making NIL money.
They'd
Like
have a Kelsi Baker smoothie.
what?
And, like,
This smoothie is so good. Come to Market Street and get one.
She'd be out there working. Anybody
yum, yum.
Yeah, and I remember I came back, like, after I graduated, I came back for a game, and I was walking in the Raptors, and I think maybe a couple years ago I went there, and there was still a picture of me in the Raptors, and I was like, I should get paid for that crap. And now people are.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, this has been here literally like 5 years. It's a big old thing of me. Like there was like on 3 different places in campus, and I was like, this is crazy.
Where's my
Yeah.
check at? Yeah.
Cut me a check.
It is good to see people starting to realize how much y'all were taking advantage of, because we'll even see it like on Twitter, and then we know they're just joking, but someone will be like, oh, we should do this t-shirt like this and then this, and like our first comment's always like, we'll buy it, but you got to cut so and so an NIL check like first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like, oh, that's a good point. Yeah, of course. Like, and people like see that now, but back then that was the norm. It's like, I'm gonna throw this person's picture on a t-shirt and I can
Right.
make money off of it, and they get nothing. Like, what? Like, how is that legal? It's just it's mind-blowing that was okay for so long. And so
And I just remember like, and like I said, we looked at it as an opportunity and different things like that, but just speaking engagements, like
Yeah.
there were times where I was like, my director of operations, who was Grant Fawcett at the time, and then Melissa Maines, Kelsi, can you go here on Monday, here on Tuesday, speak to this elementary school, speak to that, and I was like, yeah, but we did it because we wanted to,
Yeah.
but that was
Should've been
time
paid for it.
consuming.
Yeah.
That was time consuming, and there were days where you were like exhausted, but you had to put on the face, like,
Yep.
because it was like your duty. This was your job. This is what you had to do,
Right.
but I'm not getting compensated for it.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is what I had to do, but if I got a meal from it, I could not play back. Like,
Yes, exactly. You can't even you could even eat while you're at the event because it's
I can't
illegal.
even eat.
Like, but I
Like-
have to be here to get my scholarship money. Like, it's just insane.
I have to be here. I have to talk to these kids. I have to talk to these people. I have to make this appearance. But if I eat these green beans,
Yeah.
I'm out.
I'm done for the year.
And that's the part that people didn't realize when athletes were fighting for, and I think it's fighting for themselves, fighting for the value of themselves too. Like, I need you to value me as a person and value my time, and that's all NIL really is valuing the athlete and not using them, and not allowing them to have any reward for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I love it. I love where we're at. As far as that, again, I'm sure changes are coming, but they can't go back now. They can't put that back to where it was. It's
That's
out
true.
there. It's here for
It's
the
out
better.
now.
And now it's just a matter of the teams and the universities, which I think Texas Tech's doing a good job in having people in place to help the athletes figure out what NIL deals they can get, because there are still parameters, and like don't get yourself in trouble with the NCAA and all that. But yeah, it's a much safer environment in every student that can go to college and play sports. I mean, you should take advantage of it right now, like you said
should.
earlier. Do it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But
Go get those Market Street smoothies.
yeah, go get some. It's like the Baker smoothie.
The baker's smoothie,
Would've
like
been-
a baker's dozen, like a baker's dozen
Yeah.
worth.
Oh my gosh, you could have had like a bakery deal.
What?
Oh my
I'm gonna go talk to him.
Is it too late? I mean, why not?
I'm gonna go talk to
I
him.
know. I need
I got it.
figure that out for me,
Yeah,
Sydney.
got you, I
Lady
got you.
Raider Legends.
Thank you.
Mills. Great.
Thank you.
So I guess
Cool.
we'll just finish this off. But how can people support you? How can they follow you on social media? How can they get some barbecue? People were interested in your barbecue joint. All this stuff.
So we do barbecue in Mesquite and Forney. We've been doing a lot of catering lately. So I got into barbecue just kind of like a way to de-stress. I smoke a lot of meat, so it's my way to kind of like decompress. And so it went from like, oh, I'm just having fun with this, and then I started like looking up recipes and doing different things, and my cousin was like, oh, you smoking meat? Like, I'm smoking meat. And so we kind of started this Smoking Bros barbecue together. But you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I'm on Facebook. Anywhere you want to follow me, I'm on every social media. We have a good time. Basketball-wise, I come to a game, Mesquite High School. We have fun. We have the best cheering section in the state of Texas. I truly believe it.
Gotta find
So-
out.
Come to a game. We live stream every game, so if anybody wants to watch, we live stream every game. Come get some barbecue. We do everything we could possibly do. So
Oh, I'm definitely gonna come by one of those places.
Yeah.
Next time I'm in
Come on.
Texas, I'm gonna drive through.
come on. Next time I'm in North Carolina, I have to come find you.
Yeah. I'm
Try
here.
to have
I mean,
barbecue.
hopefully I'll be in Texas soon. I'm trying to move back, but who knows the timeline. on
Let's
that. So
go.
I've been here for
Clip it.
I've been here
Clip
for about
it.
10 years. I think it's time. The job I came here for, I have my own business now, so there's nothing tying me here, but
That's right.
it's a lot of logistics. But hopefully I'll move back, and then even if I don't, in the next year, I will go find your barbecue joint. I got to visit the family.
You come
so-
on. Listen,
I'm not too
you
far
come
from
find me,
Dallas.
you get whatever you want. You get whatever you want.
Appreciate that.
Love
The Baker special.
The Baker Special.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Kelsi. Like, I'm so honored to hear more of like your story, and even though I thought I knew some of you, I really appreciate the time that you spent with us. And I think like if one thing I could say to you, and just like how proud I am of you and for coming to Tech, is like your advocacy for students, for your people, and also for being a great champion of Texas Tech. And like you kicked off the interview with like all the feels, and it's so accurate
stop.
of just how Lubbock hits different, Texas Tech, but it's because of people like you. So thank you for
I appreciate that.
thank you for your commitment to Texas Tech and to the future future Red Raiders, future whatever they are. Like you said earlier, like the world is full of possibilities. So I'm glad you're the one that they're looking up to and being in a role model figure. So
I
that's
definitely appreciate
all I
it.
wanted to say. But yeah, we really appreciate your time. And yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for having me on. I think y'all are doing a great job. We need podcasts like this.
Yeah.
Appreciate
We
that.
got you.
Women need it, girls need it, people need it, community needs it. So I appreciate y'all for everything that y'all are doing. And trust me, from the bottom of my heart, y'all are true tech people. Y'all are family. Y'all ever need anything, you call me. If I can do it, I'm gonna do it. And I believe that with my whole heart for anybody that is Texas Tech family. Like I said, Texas Tech is a special place, and for anybody that goes there, they will truly see it. It hadn't changed that much. You know, the people are the same.
Yeah.
So, and that's one thing that if I can get any message to anybody, that Texas Tech will change your life and it'll change the trajectory of your life. And I keep saying that, but I truly believe it. If I didn't believe it, I wouldn't support Texas Tech in everything that they're doing.
True.
So
100%.
I truly believe it.
Texas Tech changed my life as well, so I can get behind that statement. I love it. We appreciate you coming on and all the support you still give for Texas Tech and everything you did as an athlete, even if it wasn't as good as it is now. But we'll get Sibby to work on those NIL deals
I'm on it.
post college days
on
for
it.
you. But until next time, we're definitely gonna have you on again, maybe as the season gets closer, during the season, to kind of talk about as a coach what you're seeing on the court. We'd love to have you on and let people get to know you more. But yeah, until then, as we do, just wreck 'em.
Reckon.
Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
All right.